How's it going, everyone? Mountainspyder here, bringing another episode in the Pokemon TCG series. Now, today is going to be a special one. Today I'm going to be talking about drawing versus fetching, particularly what order you want to do those in. Now, I often get asked why I would play, for instance, like Hop before Nest Ball, or why Nest Ball before Hop, or Great Ball, respectively. And today, often I get questions about that. And I really want to go into that today. My logic behind it, my reasoning behind it, and a little bit of help for everyone as to why I make the decisions and what I think about it. So, first of all, what am I even talking about? So, when I'm talking about draw cards, I'm talking about cards like Professor's Research or Hop. These are cards that allow you to draw directly from your deck, be it 7 cards in Professor Research's example or 3 cards in Hop's example. The common thing here is that you're drawing basically random cards on top of your deck unless you've already filtered your draw order. Now, usually these are supporters, so once per turn, but there can be other card types as well. You get Stadium draw cards in terms of Rose Tower, you can get Roller Skates, which is an item card, or you can use Crobat V, which is a Pokemon. And what all of these do is they allow you to draw cards from your deck. Usually is limited once per turn unless you're using a different type sim. So for example, you could do Hop, you could do Rose Tower, Roller Skates, and Crobat all in the same turn. But you can't really do 2 Hops in the same turn. Same as Crobat V, you can't use its Dark Acid ability more than once per turn. So draw cards are very, very powerful because they give you card advantage, which is huge. Now, on the other side of the coin, we're looking at fetch examples. Now, your fetch cards are cards, like I said previously, is like Nest Ball or Evolution Incense. These are cards that allow you to search your deck, choose what cards you want, and then take them out of your deck. Now, usually these cards go to your hand, sometimes go to your discard pile, your play area, or even your lost zone. But most of the time, you are searching your deck for a card and place it into your hand. Now again, these are usually supporters, but there can be other card types as well. Very often these are item type cards, as you can see here. But you do get stadiums, you get supporters, you also do get Pokemon. So like Brooklet Hill is a stadium card, where you can take basic water type Pokemon. Sonia is a really great example because you can take both Pokemon or you can take energies. And Nidoqueen, anyone familiar with the theme format, is very familiar with how Nidoqueen works, where you can search your deck for a Pokemon and put it into your hand. Now, these fetch cards are incredibly powerful because they allow you to select what you want. So, now that we know what we're talking about, why do you want to play these cards? Now, when I'm talking about draw cards, I usually want to be playing a draw card when I'm trying to get card advantage. Now, card advantage is when you have more cards in your hand than your opponent, or you simply have more cards in your hand. Now, the more cards you have in your hand, the more options for play that you have. The more energies you could have in your hand, the more supporters, the more Pokemon. What card advantage gives you is options. Options in a game like this are incredibly valuable because you have more to work with. You've got more plays that you can do during your turn. You can put more Pokemon down on your bench. You can evolve more Pokemon. You can play more energies. Now, I know you're limited to 1 energy per turn, but there's ways to change that. You can play supporters. You can play more items. You can search your deck. You can simply do more on your turn with more cards in your hand. If you don't have cards in your hand, you can't really do anything. So while playing draw card, you're enabling yourself to do more on your turn. Now, the nice thing with the draw card, example like Hop or Prof's Research, you can draw multiple types of cards. If you play a draw card, you could pick up an energy, an item card, and maybe a Pokemon. So the benefit of playing a draw card is that if you're needing more than one answer, you can get multiple answers from a single draw card. And that's where a lot of the power from draw cards comes, is because they give you card advantage, because they grow your hand. You can often draw into more than one answer, or more than one thing that you need. Typically, I classify draw cards as more of a broad answer. You're not entirely sure what you're getting. Most of the time, you're not sure what you're getting. But you're drawing more. So you're able to get a more broad answer for your solution. So you might draw some energies which you'll need. You might draw some items which you'll need. You're not really specifically looking for one answer. You're playing a draw card when you're looking for more than one answer, or there typically isn't something that you need right now. You just kind of need to improve your situation. In that sense, draw cards are fantastic because they improve your situation significantly by getting you more cards and more answers. Now, fetch cards, on the other hand, are very different. Typically, you want to be playing a fetch card when you've identified a win condition or lose condition. Now, what I mean about this is when you're looking at a win condition, you're looking for what you need to win. If you need one more energy to get your attack off, you're probably better off playing a fetch card than a draw card. So if you're sitting with basically a Hop or a Sonya in your hand, and you need one more energy to close up the game and take a final prize card, 100% of the time, Sonya's the better play. Because you need that energy. You can't risk not getting it. So you've identified your win condition, so you desperately need to get that energy out. In a similar fashion, identifying a loss condition is also very important. If you know if you have to switch your Pokemon out this turn, you can't always rely on a draw card to bring out a switch or to bring out that extra energy you need for a retreat. If you have to retreat that turn, fetching the exact card you need to win the game, or to at least not lose that turn, is highly beneficial. So trying to identify those win-loss conditions and playing your fetch cards around that is very, very important. Because fetch cards are so powerful at bringing out the exact answer you need, granted it's in your deck, make them incredibly useful. Now, as I said, you are looking for a specific card. So you're playing a fetch card with intent. You're looking for something. There's a reason behind your search. Typically, you're not playing a fetch card for just let me see what I get kind of thing. You're playing a fetch card because you want something. Typically, it's better saving these fetch cards for when you need something. You want to be getting value out of it. So try and dig for something that you need. Have a play in mind. Don't just kind of, I'll take the first basic Pokemon that comes out. You kind of want to be looking for something first. Now, there is one other way to play fetch cards, and I often do it more in standard than in theme, is to view your deck. Now, 100% this is worth doing in any format. Now, what I mean by this is, fetch cards allow you to search your deck. Now, if you know your deck composition, you'll be able to identify immediately what your prize cards are. This is incredibly valuable, especially early on in the game. You can play a search card, or a fetch card, sorry, to search through your deck and see how many of your important stage 3 Pokemons are in your deck. How many of your specific energies are in your deck. Or maybe your specific item or sports cards are in your deck. So this allows you to basically go through your deck and see, okay, this is a prize card, I can't really rely on this. I have to get the knockouts first. This can be very powerful. Information is everything. Knowing your chances of drawing a card, knowing that you maybe don't even have that card in your deck, can significantly alter the play you make. So you can use these cards to kind of fix your future plays by knowing what is in your deck and what your prize cards are. I would strongly suggest, if you have the ability to search your deck, do so and kind of take note of your win cons. Take note of what cards are in your deck, what cards you could be looking for in the future, and try and remember that. It's really, really important. So again, as I said, fetch cards really are the opposite of draw cards in the sense that they're very narrow. You're going in with a reason. You're searching your deck for a narrow set of results that you want to find. So it's a lot more specific than draw cards are. Typically your draw cards, you take them to the top of your deck and, oh, cool, this is what I need, I've now got more answers. Whereas a fetch card is, I need this card. I need this stage 2 to win this game. I need this item to win this game. That is typically the difference between these draw cards and these fetch cards, is the fact that if you're playing draw, you're going rather broad. If you're going fetch, you're going very specific. So now, what order of play should you be playing these in? And this is where it starts getting a little bit complicated. If you were to play a draw card first, and then a fetch card, typically when you're making this play, you're needing multiple cards. There is not just one card you're looking for, which is why you're playing the draw card first. By playing the draw card first, you're kind of trying to cover your bases to not have to use the fetch card. Or you're kind of covering your bases, for example, if you're looking for 2 basic Pokemon. You can play a draw card first to try and bring out 1 or 2 of those, and then fetch the other one. Now the reason you want to do it that way is because, for example, if you're looking for a Squirtle and a Charmander, for whatever reason, those are 2 cards that you need. If you play a draw card and a fetch card in that order, your draw card might get you the Charmander, so okay, cool, you can use a fetch card to fetch your Squirtle. Now, if you happen to do it the other way around, you use your fetch card first to bring out your Squirtle, and then you play a draw card and you don't get a Charmander, well, that's a bit awkward. Or worse yet, you play it and maybe you get another Squirtle, which doesn't help you. So, typically if you're looking for multiple answers, it's a bit better if you go for the draw first and then your fetch card. Now, as I said, this is also a way to potentially save your fetch card for a different play or for a later turn. If you draw, and you happen to draw into all your answers, well then, there's not much need for the fetch card. And again, what also might happen is you might have the wrong fetch card. Or you might need to draw into your fetch card. Say for instance, you're desperately looking for a Great Ball, and you don't have a Great Ball in your hand. Well, then that fetch card's not going to do you much good. So then playing the draw card first, hopefully draw into your answers, is a little bit better, and possibly then you might actually draw into a Great Ball. Whereas, on the other side, if you're playing a fetch card first, and then a draw card, you're typically digging for a specific card. Now, there's more than one way to dig. When I'm referring to dig, I mean looking through your deck, searching for a specific card. You're literally digging through your deck looking for a card. Now, you're looking for a specific card. So ideally, you might be looking for it with fetch, and you need a Squirtle. You can search your deck, immediately pick up that Squirtle and put it in your hand, and then into play. Now, sometimes you're looking for a specific card that you can't get with your fetch card. So, for example, I desperately need 1 more energy to close the game out. And I don't have an energy in my hand, and I have no way of fetching energy. What I would sometimes do is play a fetch card to take another card out of my deck to basically thin my deck, make it smaller, to increase my chances of drawing an energy. For example, if I have 10 cards in my deck, and for ease of access, I just draw 1 card, and I'm searching for an energy. And if there's only 1 energy in my deck, I basically get 10% of drawing that card. Not great. Now, if I were to use a fetch card first, and just take a random basic Pokemon out of my deck goes down to 9. Now if I were to draw a card, my chances of drawing energy go up to about 12%, 12-15%. So I'm now getting a better chance of drawing what I need. Now, typically you're kind of doing this when you don't desperately need the card you fetch. The reason you're doing this is you're digging specifically for something you can't get with that fetch card, but you need it. So you can use the fetch card to increase your chances. Now, ideally, you want to be fetching something that you can at least use, or quite frankly, if it's something you know you're never going to use, then just get it out of your deck. If it's sitting in your hand, that's fine. At least you're not drawing into it at a later stage, which is a really good thing. So you can use these fetch cards to increase your chances of drawing what you actually need. Now, necessity. Sometimes as I said, you're desperately looking for something. Now, using your fetch card first really can just dig through that deck. As I said, sometimes thinning your deck is really, really important to just reduce those odds. So don't feel bad playing a fetch card to just reduce the odds of drawing something you don't want. And this comes into play even just your first card of every single turn. If you're basically packed out and you don't need more energies in your hand, you can use a fetch card to just draw out energies from your deck to make sure that the next card you draw on your next turn is not an energy. That is a great way to use fetch cards, and don't feel bad using them to do that. You're increasing your odds of winning. Go for it. So, in conclusion, I don't think there is a one answer for everything. Basically, I'll sum it down to these 3 points. First of all, read the situation. You've got to learn to read the game and kind of identify where you're sitting in the game. You need to be able to identify your win-loss condition. So, looking at the board, being able to see what you need to win and what your opponent can do to make you lose the game. And then weigh up your odds from there. Try and apply these 3 steps to the decision you make. And this can be to any decision you make in Pokemon TCG. Is, first of all, read what's happening. You kind of got to get a grasp of what is happening in the game. What can your deck do? What can your opponent's deck do? What's going to happen in the next 3 turns? That is what I'm referring to when I say read the situation. Play the game out a few turns in your head and go from there. Once you've done that, identify how you can win in those given situations. How can you lose in those given situations? Then start weighing your odds. Weigh your odds for what you can draw to win the game. Maybe it's some coin flips that might be important. Weigh up all those odds to then make a more informed decision. As I've got here on the page, I'm literally going to read it because I wanted to type this out to make sure I'm actually getting my thought across. There is no one answer for every given situation. This is a game where luck is ever present. As you watch my channel, you know, luck is ever present. Practice making those informed decisions based on the state of the game. You need practice making informed decisions. It's not easy. The better you can read a situation and plan accordingly, the better you can minimize luck. You can never completely negate luck, but the decisions you make can minimize the effect luck has on your game. That can really swing a game. Now, practice identifying both your win and loss conditions, and you will become better at making those informed decisions in the moment. So it really comes down to how you're able to read a game and your experience with playing the game. Now, this is something that does take practice, and I encourage you to practice it, is reading the state of the game, identifying your win and loss conditions, and weighing the odds of each of your plays. This is how you decide if it's better to play hop first and then nest ball, or if it's better to play nest ball and then hop. It takes practice identifying the condition that you're in, and then identifying how you're going to improve that condition. And it's practice, like anything else. It takes time. So I hope this video kind of helped you get a better idea of when to play draw cards, when to play fetch cards, and the order you're playing them in. And hopefully it gave you some insight into my thoughts behind it. Because this is a question that quite often gets asked a lot, both on my Discord and in the comment section of YouTube, is why would I make certain plays? This is kind of my thought process behind it. Do I always make the right play? Certainly not. I'm not a professional. I'm not a top tier, top ranked Pokemon TCG player. But I am trying to improve myself. And these are steps you can make to improve yourself, to learn. I am certainly still learning to be a better player. And I think if you ask anyone out there, they'll give you the same answer. There is always room to improve. There is always room to better yourself. And really, that's what's important. If you increase your win-loss ratio from 15% to 20%, that's fantastic. I don't care if you're still losing 80% of your games. You've gotten 5% better. And by making small decisions like this and increasing by 5%, you're getting better. That's what's important. You don't need to swing your win-loss ratio from 40% to 80% in a week. Honestly, that's probably never going to happen. But if you increase it from 40% to 42% in a week, that's great progress. It's going to take you time to get to where you really want to be, but it's progress. And you make that progress by fixing small mistakes like this. So, I hope this helped. Please let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this. If you have some similar ideas, or if you see something I completely said wrong. I'm always keen to see those. As I said, it's learning. You're getting better. So please, if you see something I did wrong, let me know in the comments, especially when I'm playing Pokemon TCG. If you see me make a bad play, call it out. That's how we improve. That's how we learn to make better plays. I hope this helped everyone. Thanks so much for watching. Cheers. Enjoy.